This is the Art Beauty Podcast, where we are always reaching for truth in beauty. The brands on our show are not paying to be here. And why that matters is because we get to ask the questions that we know you want to hear the answers to, because you deserve to be informed so you can make the best choices for yourself. I'm Amber, and today my fabulous co-host is Laura Geller. She is founder of Laura Geller Beauty and such a legend in the beauty industry. Laura, I am so excited to have you on today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have to say, you are not wearing a stitch of makeup, I noticed.
No.
Really good. And this took a long time for me to prepare. So not fair.
Well, you know what? So today we are going to talk about, well, we've got so much to cover, but you have really pioneered the 40-plus-year-old woman's face, and you are followed and loved by celebrities like Kylie Richards, Bethenny Frankel, Ali Wentworth, so many beautiful women who have gone on air with no makeup and shown the transformation. And I love this. So I thought today we're going to talk about your products, and that when we get into them, I will apply the makeup as we're chatting with it, because I want everybody to see that this is not BS, right? You have made, you have taken my makeup routine and what I used to pack in my makeup bag, which was this. We're going to get rid of that. And now it's this. And with just a handful of products, it's just stunning. So I'm excited to do that. So yes, if you're watching this and not listening, here we go. Now, full disclosure, I do have lashes on because I wanted to be a little bit glam for you. So that's it. Okay. But you'll see, you're going to see all the spots and whatever, and we're going to cover that all up, but still beautifully. So before we get into that though, I'm so psyched to have you here today, because I feel like you and I are kindred spirits in a few different ways. We're both native New Yorkers. Both of us grew up kind of not upstate New York, right? But when people used to ask, you're from Rockland County, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in Putnam. So I was born here in New York City, grew up in Putnam, on the Upper East Side now. And we both had sort of career starts with Broadway. Now, you started as a professional makeup artist. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in this business?
Oh, listen, I've had so many different iterations of the business, because when I first studied the art of makeup, there were no makeup courses. I know I sound like a dinosaur, but there were theatrical and film makeup courses, dramatic art schools and things where you had to mandatory take those classes if you were studying dramatic arts. So I studied theater and film makeup, and I thought, well, I guess that means I have to do theater and film. So I got my start, you're right, in theater, and a very famous costume designer who still, I attribute so much to her, Carrie Robbins, and still is doing it today, found me, discovered me, and she would bring me in on Broadway shows because there was no budget for makeup, but she'd bring me in for the head talent, the star of the show, to teach them how to do their own makeup for their own performances. So I got to work on when Chicago was first launched with Anne Ranking as the choreographer. I worked with Anne, and I worked on Annie. I worked with Martin Chardin, the producer. And while I loved it, and it sounds really impressive, and I did so much more than that, what I really found through my experience was that what I loved most was making real women like you and I transform and enhanced. And that was where my heart was. And I only found that out over many years of doing TV and film. Gotcha. So eventually I went straight into starting my own makeup line, opening a store on the Upper East Side on 74th and Lex, had it for 21 years. And people came to me for makeup lessons. They came to me for their special occasions. Celebrities came for when there was no budget, but they needed to get made up. And so they would come to the studio real quick. So it was a fun place, really fun.
Okay, so many, I had no idea. So I got started sort of, one of my big breaks into television was working for a show, and I would go and interview all of the Broadway shows that were going on tour. So FYI, there's still on Broadway shows, there's still not huge budgets for makeup. A lot of the actors do their own makeup. I actually got to be in Chicago on Broadway for one night only. I know. Are you dying? They asked me as part of this. So when you said Chicago, I'm dying. I'm dying. I interviewed the cast of Annie, who was going out so cute. But yeah, I got to be on the Chicago stage with the cast. I had all my friends and family come. So amazing.
What
And
an
then
experience.
it was incredible. And let me tell you, Broadway it's the best of the best. And yet, you've been backstage. It's still not glamorous. It's no
Oh,
QVC, right? When you're on
no.
QVC, and we'll talk about QVC, you go into that studio. I would move into the QVC studio. But backstage, it's still like tiny little areas, no divas, and everybody was so helpful. Chicago was amazing. But your
Wow.
makeup studio, you were the first, I'm going to say, fancy makeup I ever bought was the bronzer. And I love that, like, that still hasn't changed. The beautiful that we're going to be talking about before, but I got to come down. Would sneak down to New York. And I remember coming to your studio on the Upper East Side. And,
Wow, I didn't
I'm
know that.
sad that
That's
it's still not
amazing.
open. Yeah.
I know so many people are, trust me, I know.
Uh, so we started. You mentioned QVC, and I have to say, you've been on QVC for what is it, over 20 years?
26 years this year. Yeah.
That
We're the
is,
longest standing color brand where the founder is still on. I mean,
yeah,
we're the longest standing color brand to begin with,
yeah.
and where the founder is still on air. I mean, it's unmatched.
I have to say, I've gotten to also work with QVC. It's incredible because products have to work. On QVC, the audience knows, they trust the people who are going on there. And if your product does not stand up to the claims that it's making, you're
True.
not going to you're going to be out of there. So I know we're going to get to talk about all the fun products, and congratulations. Cause I read that Business Insider said that you are the fastest growing digital brand in beauty and cosmetics.
What? I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, in 2022. And you doubled the competition. Second on that list was Beach Waver, a company that I also love.
Oh,
But
yes.
you
Oh my
doubled.
gosh, I'm
You were
friends with them.
double. Oh my gosh. So
Yep.
you have such an incredible following. And I think, going back to, look, I started with your makeup when I was, in my 20s. But I think that your makeup is so friendly to the more mature face. What is it about that? And why is that?
It's interesting. I always say we span, we're multi-generational. I mean, we span so many decades. I say 18 to 80, below and beyond,
Yeah.
or 19 to 90, you call it what you want. But I think it's more about the versatility. I think it's more about not needing a lot of product because the products are very richly pigmented. So like it's quick and easy makeup. And I think also the technology works really well. Listen, I've been doing makeup since I'm 18 years old and I'm turning 65 this year. And I have to tell you, I understand. Like I didn't when I was in my 30s doing makeup, and women were perspiring when I was doing their makeup. And I was like, why are they sweating? Like, I have to have that makeup look good. And they're in the middle of a hot flash. Like, what's
Mhm.
that about? But now, having gone through all these decades and really understanding the plight of women who are in their 20s and 30s to their 70s and 80s, I think when we do our products and create them with our product development team, I'm always mindful of how to solve a problem. Will this work on most? It can't work on everybody, but will
Right.
it work on most people? And is it friendly to the skin so that it looks like enhancement, not like cover up? And so I think it's the technology, the product development. I think we do things very different than a lot of other brands in respect to how we make our products. And I don't mean clean versus natural versus whatever else they're labeling things as. I think that it's really about the ease of use and the fun of the makeup. And that's why it works for 40 plus so easily.
I mean, and trust me, I've put this through the ringer. So at first I was like, okay, let me see about this is like my weekend makeup bouncing around. But you can take this makeup from, sort of your weekend casual. It looks good going to the grocery store, for those of us who want to like look good going to yoga. It's great for that because it's going to be sweat friendly and workout friendly. But you can also take it to full gorgeous glam.
It's
So
so
I
funny,
love that. Yeah.
Amber. It's so funny you said that because you just hit something that I remember. Like a decade ago, I remember reading comments on QVC from many of our customers saying, oh, I love your makeup. I use it on the weekend. It's my athleisure makeup. It works really well when I'm running off to an exercise class or to the market. And I remember thinking, why are they only doing it on the weekend? And what I asked and tried to find out from people were that it was quick and easy. And so they didn't feel they had to labor over it. And then what started happening is they started realizing, well, wait a minute, like, why am I laboring over my makeup during the week if I
Right.
get the same result and the better finish? And so, yeah, so I think that it really is makeup that you can wear from day to night. It's true. You really made me remember that.
It's beautiful from day to night too, because you can really bump it up, right?
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
feel like let's get into it because I do want to talk about some of, the stars of the product that I found, but I know that your brand has so many, something for everyone. But let's start out. So with the foundation, first of all, I want to show you this because I think for so many women, I've got the Balance and Brighten here, and I've got it here in the, wait, that's the bronzer. Hold on. So you can see everything's right in this little bag.
Amazing.
For people who love to travel, for people who are on the go, if you've got a day to night and you need to put something in your office, you don't want to have a giant
Oh,
suitcase like I used to carry around.
I'm gonna help you pare down that small case even more in a
Even
second.
more.
Even
Okay.
more.
I don't doubt it. So we're going to start here with the baked Balance and Bright. Now I have this in a medium, but I do love because you now have an expanded inclusive shade.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if people are watching this. You can see I've used it quite a bit. How beautiful this palette is. Like each one of these palettes is a work
Yeah.
of art.
They
And I
are.
know a lot of care goes into it. Can you tell us about how you're making them? And I'll start to apply where you're telling us all of the benefits about this.
Yeah, it's true. One of the things that I discovered, because the Bronze and Brighten was the first baked product I brought to QVC, then it was Balance and Brighten. And I went to the factory over 2 decades ago, or almost 2 decades ago, because I didn't understand what does baked mean and why does it look the way it does. I have to tell you, by the way, they let nobody in the factory now. We put them on the map. Not that they weren't creating products for some of the top most prestigious brands,
Right.
but what I found was astounding because it wasn't machine made. They're handmade by true artisans. They can only do a certain amount per day, and there's only women, and I don't know what the reason for that is, working on these, and they're handmade on these. I'm going to put this up to the camera so you can see it. They're
Yeah.
terracotta tiles. And when you get to the bottom, you'll see that. And by the way, you should know by now how long it takes to get to the bottom. So,
Okay. I mean, I'm telling you, this is my daily use. I feel like this is going to last forever. I mean,
had
talk
I
about bang for your
known,
buck. I know. But thank you for not doing that, right? Because, I will say this. I think the other thing that I love about your brand is that you've made it so accessible, not only in the ease of use, not only that it's fast and fun and pretty much error free, right? Like I'm not a makeup artist. So everybody knows that. And I can make this makeup look flawless, but that it's still affordable, right? So this
yeah,
is like
yeah.
the true affordable luxury. And so now it's like there's no excuse to not put on your face before you go out. No, listen, I'm a New Yorker, so half the time I do not care. I will walk to the grocery store with my
Same,
hair in rollers,
same.
no makeup on, like barely brushing my teeth.
No,
But
I'm with you on that. I mean, I call myself the lazy girl guide to makeup.
yeah.
When
Yes.
I
Oh my God. I
really,
think that's why I love it. Yes.
yeah. I mean, if I have to go to a special event, of course, I'm sitting down and I'm taking my time and making sure I do the whole thing because I also enjoy it. I love watching the enhancement happen and how you can really make your eyes look bigger and your cheekbones look higher, on and on. But the idea is that you can do a little and it looks like you labored over it because you look so darn good.
And I want to show people too. So I've now put this on and it is covered up a lot. I'm going to show you too how you can use this, or at least how I've learned to use this. And by the way, Laura, some of my makeup techniques you're probably going to cringe at.
No, not.
So just
No.
I apologize in advance. But what I love about this too is number one, powder. I feel like so many women stray away from powder because let's be honest, with most powders, they're not friendly, right? Once you start to have those beautiful evidence of like a life well lived, right? We're going to call them not fine lines and wrinkles, evidence of like all the laughter and smiles and, you know, kisses that you've given in your life. Powders can be really unfriendly.
Yeah, and
Not
it's
this
true.
though.
Not all powders, obviously, but I
Right.
would say the majority of powders, the reason for that is that they're not made first as a hydrating base.
Right.
So what they to stay pressed in a compact, which is
Right.
the difference between handmade and machine made, they have to use things that are fillers and binders to keep it pressed. Now, by
Right.
the way, those fillers and binders are not bad for you, so please don't panic.
Right.
Nor is talc, which is a big misconception because the FDA has approved it in this lowest levels that we use. I know that there are some people who think you should never use talc and that that's what makes you look dry. On the contrary,
Right.
we start our product as a cream because we mix those pigments with antioxidants, the liquid. And so, and then we bake it on that terracotta I showed you to sustain hydration. So the difference is ours is blends into the skin. It doesn't
Yes.
sit on the skin. Powders will flask off. They look good maybe initially when you put it on, but they disappear because they're not melding into the skin and blending and becoming one with the skin. That's the difference.
I think this makeup actually gets better as the day goes on because, like you said, I guess now I know why. And can you see? So I use a little brush, and now I know that you have amazing brushes. I don't have them here, so
That's
excuse me. But
okay.
I know you with your
You can
kabuki
use
brush.
any
But
brush with it.
I'm just using a brush, and to cover up. Let's see. I'm trying to get in here. So do you see? I've got this little spot here. I just want to show how amazing this is. So no more need for foundation. You can pat that in. You can pat this under the eyes,
Yeah, you can
and
use it
then
in a pinch under the eye.
your skin looks like skin. So one of
Yeah.
the things I hate is when we do foundation, a lot of the times, no matter what, with any foundation, you have that weird look because your skin looks flat. It is one color. But our skin isn't one color, right? It's made up of different shades. And I feel like that is really incredible because how many pigments do you blend in each one of these?
So in the Balance and Brighten, we have up to 6 pigments. We actually have 6 pigments. And I think to your point, it's the highs and lows.
Right.
So it's dimensional looking on your skin. You know, listen, we make other products that are monochromatic, and they're great, but the difference is that they're more full coverage because they're more opaque. With Balance and Brighten, it's a more natural finish because of all the different pigments, and it
It,
mirrors the mimics the look of your own skin tones.
Now, I know from watching you on QVC endlessly that medium is actually the first color you launched with, right? And that
Yes.
used to be really good because this is really like easy. We're going to call it smart makeup, right? Because
Yeah.
it because of that blend of pigments. You know, I know you've said before, it's like if you want to warm it up, you could go up a shade, you know, like a little deeper shade rather, but it's
Yes.
very, very friendly, easy to use makeup. So what would you say I should do next? Now that I have you on, should I go with the blush or should I go with the bronze and brighten? So this was the first product I ever bought from
So
you.
I have to tell you, you know, I'm going to tell you a little secret
Yeah.
that I don't tell many people. It's
Oh yeah,
just
give
us
it.
listening, right? You know that Bronze and Brighten is foundation.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and how I fell upon that was that I had it sent to me by a manufacturer and I was using it for a couple of years. Like I said, they take a long time to get to the bottom.
Right.
And I was putting it on every day and I loved the bronzing look that I got. When I located who sent it to me, because I couldn't remember where I had gotten it from, and I said, "What am I using?" And he said, "Oh, that's a foundation for women of color." And I thought, wait, I'm using it as bronzer. He's like, what a good idea.
Great idea.
So it actually has coverage in it. So you don't need to wear it with foundation or on top of bronze, on top of Balance and Bright. You can wear it alone and get coverage and bronzing at the same time.
Oh, so this is going to be great too, because I can use a little bit of this to make it look like I've been out in the sun, but we know that we're not going to do that. I
Well, you
know.
can use it, of course, on top of any foundation, but you need less of it. There it
And
is.
look how gorgeous these are.
Gorgeous.
I mean, just
Beautiful.
they're like a work of art. Okay, so let's just see.
A light dusting of it gives you that, like, you know, sort of like when
I'm going
you've
to
come in from
contour a
the
little bit, right?
sun. Yeah. You know, it's so funny. You're doing it as more of a contour and sculpting your face, which I love
Okay.
because when you sculpt your face, you're showing the planes of your face, the temple, the cheekbone, the jawline. But if you are in a hurry and want to make it look like you've just come off the beach from the day, showered, and you look in the mirror and you were like, oh my God, look at all that sun I got. You just put it everywhere. No, and
everywhere.
there's no right or wrong on how you do it. Just get it on.
So if my, people who've been listening to this for like years now, I started with a co-host, Ryan, and he used to wear, he'd be like, just give me your bronzer. I'm putting it everywhere. So Ryan, shout out to you. I miss you. I love you. Okay. So we've also got now this blush, which is the Blush and Brighten. And I am obsessed with this. Okay.
Which
Because
color do you have? Which
I've
color?
got it in the Tropic Hues.
Oh, that's
This
so
is
pretty.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, so we've got the blend of pigments here. I
6
found
different pigments.
that this one also gave me like a little bit of that glow. It almost has, like that highlight in there. It is so beautiful. So I'm going to just do a light.
Just a light dusting. Sometimes I always say when I'm talking about getting out of the house fast and not worrying about like perfectly sculpting your face, but just getting on enough color to maybe give you coverage and then enough color to make you look like you're awake.
Right.
Sometimes I just say smile and put a little in the apple of the cheek so that when you're not smiling, it mirrors the look of a smile.
And can
And
you see here?
you did it perfectly.
I feel like
Perfectly.
here it gives this beautiful, again, I'm not a makeup artist. So like I
Good
said, if you
job.
want to just tell me anything in here I
Well,
shouldn't
you
be doing.
clearly have been doing a little studying somewhere, and I'm proud of you for that.
Well, because I love it. Because you see, though, we're doing this live, right? And now we're taking time. We're talking about this, but I'm telling you, I can be out the door in 5 minutes flat, easy.
Agreed.
And I love just again from like watching you in QVC, a little bit of this.
Yep.
On the eyes.
That's right. And
Right?
even the bronzer, you can pull out the different pigments from the Bronze and Brighten because you've got pinks, you've got bronze, you've got like a cream color, a beige color. So you can actually do your whole eye makeup from Bronze and Brighten.
It's it's stunning. I'm telling you, this is the kit. Okay. Now the eyeshadow. So the eyeliner, the waterproof eyeliner, gel eyeliner, which I love. And you have these in, I feel like all flattering shades.
Yeah, they're universal colors because when it comes to liner, especially across the top, more or less.
Yeah.
I always say, use something richly pigmented, whether it's a black or a deep brown or gray. Even if you want to use color like green or blue, make sure it's just dark pigment when you do it across the top. On the bottom, I like to go softer. And I also like to use the bottom color as sort of an accessory to my wardrobe. So like if
Okay.
I were wearing a purple shirt, I might do a soft purple underneath my eyes. But across the top, but by the way, you look so great from what you've already done. Like you don't even need to do eyeliner, in my opinion.
But are you ready to die at how I do my eyeliner? So Mama, I know
Let me
you watch
see.
every single podcast and I learned this from you. I know she just jams it in her eye. She used to do that driving. I mean, my memories of my mama driving in the car with her black eyeliner and her red lipstick, and she looked phenomenal.
Okay,
But I was like, Laura
her.
Geller's gonna die.
I love
Die
her.
when you're gonna die. I'm like, are you
I
cringing?
love her.
That's cringing. I know, but
And
it,
for
like
some
I can do it
reason,
anywhere.
for some reason, you pulled it off because I have to tell you, if I tried that, it'd be like that on my
No,
eye.
you just kind of get it in there, and then yes, normally I would go underneath with the brown.
Yeah.
But I pulled a brush, and now I don't have a brush, so
Oh, that's okay. Listen,
we're gonna let it go.
sometimes I just do the top amber because it makes a statement, and I'll
Yeah.
put mascara on, and I will put mascara on the lower lashes, especially if I didn't do liner there. But sometimes during the day, that's enough. Oh my
I also
God.
have to say for the well, because I want to show too, we got the light, but I really do believe you can take this with, let's say I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 products to full glam.
Yeah, definitely.
So I learned this from watching the TikTokers and the YouTubes. I call it snatching the nose, right? So this is the baked original highlighter in French vanilla, right? I do a little bit here on the,
Cupid's
am I
bow.
doing it wrong?
No, that's right. It's so funny. I don't put it at the tip of the nose. I mean,
Right.
so for me, the reason why I don't is because my nose is very pointy
Yeah.
and full here. So I'll use like bronzer here or, the Bronze and Brighten, and I'll just do the vanilla above where
Oh,
because remember, light brings forward, dark detracts. So I want to bring out the straightness. By the way, I did no contour or highlight today, just blush. But
right.
when I want to make my nose look straighter, I just do a thin amount just on the bridge of the nose, and then I brown on the sides to make it look thinner and push back a little bit.
I've tried
And
that. So,
so,
you see like the Instagram filters and like you'll put one on and you're like, oh my God, I wish my nose looked like that. And I've tried to do that nose. I've watched so many tutorials. It just never works out well for me. So
yeah.
we're
You
gonna
know
let
what?
that go.
You find your own way. I mean, even watching them, you can try what they do, but it's your face and it's their face. So what works
Yeah.
for them doesn't always work for us.
No, and I gotta say, sometimes I see watching these women, but I'm also like, oh my God, they are so insanely talented, but it's
Yeah.
so much makeup. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh God,
No, it's
great for
true.
camera, but if you walk out your door, your neighbors are gonna be looking at you like,
It's very true. Even for me, I'm going out later, but I'm
yeah,
going on QVC before I go out. So I put on more makeup than I would if I was running
right.
around. So when I meet up with friends later, I feel that I have to have a disclaimer and say, I don't always do all this.
I
I
know.
would do much less because I know they're going to look at me and go, what is she all glammed out for? We're just going over to have a bite to eat.
So my first apartment in New York City by myself was a railroad like first level apartment, which means it was dark. So railroad means it all goes in one way, and it was in the West Village, and I loved it. But the lighting was horrific, and I would put my makeup on and be like, oh, I look good going to work, going out. And then I would kind of start to walk out and pass myself in a mirror or like the window and be like, like no good, too much, way too much. Okay. So we're just gonna finish this look off with the treat and go, the tinted lip oil. I love a lip oil. I know you've got great lip, but I'm a lip biter.
Oh,
So
you are.
I know it's so disgusting.
Oh,
It's
it's
like,
not disgusting, but but it makes your lips chapped. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that's
chopped, and like I can't wear a lipstick.
or lip liner sometimes because it shows off, the skin that might be sort of peeling a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a total jerk, but like, how gorgeous is this?
No, honestly, you look amazing. You really, truly do. I mean, you were beautiful to start with. And I think a lot of people who may be watching may be saying, okay, if I look like you, I could look like you with so little. But,
Thanks, Mama.
it depending on your age and what your
Right.
needs are, you can still accomplish this beautiful finish and make it your own, in my opinion. So you look outstanding. You truly look natural.
I want to thank you because really it's you. And I feel like you've said it before, 18 to 80, 19 to 90. I feel like I don't have kids, but the way that it's going soon, it's going to be like 10 to 100, right? The girls are wearing stuff young now. Hey, listen, little
I know.
10-year-old might want a little lip gloss.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I do feel like, it when you go on to any of your social and we see these women, who are 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus, and how glamorous and gorgeous they look. And it's real. And I want to thank you so much for that.
Aw.
I feel like you've got so many things, you've got so many products established already. Is there anything next for you? I feel like you've kind of conquered the beauty business.
Well, we're always working on next. If you don't
Right.
keep innovating, it's like collecting dust on a shelf. So I'm always trying to think about how I can make something better that maybe I've brought out before. And so being on QVC for 26 years, I think I have invented every possible incarnation of beauty product. But
Yeah.
now it's about ingredients and updating ingredients or the
Sure.
delivery of how you put it on. We are working on something that I am testing today.
Oh,
Goes on your
okay.
lip before you put lipstick on. Now, I've had lip spackle before, which is a primer for the lip,
Yeah.
and people are looking for it, but there's a way of enhancing it now. So I will keep you posted, but today the guinea pig is me and I'm trying it. So I'll keep you
Okay,
posted on that.
please let us know. Before we have to go, I don't mean to like ask you really probably the hardest question, but I covered a couple of the products here that work for me. Do you have other feel like superstars on the line for people who might be thinking, oh, I'd love to try this? Like, are there ones that you're just like, this is a must try?
Yeah. So two. So beside the Balance and Brighten, not everybody has perfect skin.
Right.
There is a product called Double Take Baked Foundation, and that's one of those products. In fact, it's sitting next to me because this is where I sit when I go on air, and I have a lot of capillaries around my nose, and if I blow my nose, all of a sudden you see the redness. So it's a baked foundation. There, I'm getting to that terracotta
Oh,
tile.
I see it. Oh my
You see
gosh.
it? and at the bottom is where the sponge would sit.
Oh,
And
love that.
I always say it's one swipe to wonderful. It's full coverage, but you
Yeah.
can build it or do a little. So to me, this is a must-have in
Okay.
addition to balance and brighten, because there are days and moods and seasons that you change off your foundation. And the last item that I think is a staple is our Kajal eyeliner pencil, which is a little thicker than the one you put on. You might not be able to do that,
No, 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 I know. Yes.
but we love it because of its long wearing finish. In other words, it doesn't break down, it doesn't smear, it doesn't get lighter, it doesn't smudge. And I have tested it on people who say, I swear I've tried everything and nothing works. And when they try that, it doesn't move. It doesn't move.
It doesn't move. So I love that, because like I said before, these days, now that things are back out in the world again, and I do
No,
think that we want to be looking our best. And, you know, I'm married to a wonderful, wonderful man who always
lucky
is like, you
you,
don't need
lucky
this.
you.
I am lucky. I am
What's his
blessed.
name?
Tom,
Tom.
love him.
Oh, I
Oh my God, you're gonna make me,
love
yeah,
him.
he's the best. But he's always like, no, you don't wear makeup. But you know what? I'm like, now I have no excuse. I can go out because so he can walk out with his smoking hot wife and feel good about it because it really only takes, a couple minutes just to
Yeah.
make a little bit of an effort
Yeah. We don't need
to
to keep
just
them
look good.
waiting a long time. That's
No,
for sure. Yeah. No,
no,
it's very true. And, listen, a great man loves you without a stitch of makeup. We
yeah.
know that. So you're a very lucky woman, Amber, really.
I just want to thank you so much, Laura. Any other, before I let you go, just because it's so awesome to have you here, any other great makeup tips? You shared a lot while I was putting this on, but is there anything else that you feel like, in your years of working with, real women that you
Yeah.
feel like is the like insider tips that you want to share?
There's two tips that have nothing to do with makeup.
Okay.
And one is you're already doing it, so I'm happy sitting when you do your makeup. And a lot of people may say, well, I don't have a place where I could sit. But if you can get yourself an inexpensive mirror on Amazon, and put it on your kitchen table or desktop, when you sit, you're more apt to not rush through your makeup, and and your hands are more steady when you're sitting, as opposed to leaning over a sink in the bathroom, where you
Yeah.
feel like you want to rush through it. So that's my first tip, is try to sit. And the second tip is do not be afraid of a magnifying mirror. I know a lot of people don't want to look in them because there you go. I have the same
By
mirror. The
by the way,
exact same, Amber,
this
the
is
same mirror.
Conair.
Conair. Same exact mirror.
Let me tell you, I've
Same
tried.
mirror.
There's a company that is like super expensive. It has like the natural light. I tried it. It didn't have the magnifying. And I'm like, go back to this has the light.
Yep.
And this is
I
my
have the same
go-to.
mirror, the
The
same
same.
one.
It's because it's the best. It's
It's
the
10
best.
times. And I say, if you look good in 10 times, you're
You're
going to look
good.
good in the bright daylight and fluorescent lighting.
I love that. You can get that. It is not expensive. Conair dual-sided mirror. I
Amazon.
told you we're kindred spirits, so I
I'm
love
telling
that
you, I
even
can't believe you
more.
picked that up.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, because and this is what I use, I don't get ready here, but I have like a mirror in my desk and like a little beauty station, but this is what I use every day. It's great.
So
The 10
good.
times great for
Yay.
plucking. Oh, let's see. Let me make sure. Oh no, it does look good. I was worried because, I was kind of trying to talk and do this, but I'm telling
Yeah.
you, flawless. That's obnoxious to say. I think flawless makeup, and I'm 40 plus. Okay. We're going 44. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are such a gem. If we want to find you on QVC, how do we find you there?
So QVC, I have my own shows, and if you have a DVR, you can put in Laura Geller and it'll tape your shows for you. I'll be on this evening between 9 and 10, I think it is, or 10 and 11. But
Okay.
I have shows all the time. And look for me on April 25th if this should air before April 25th. I don't know if your podcast will be.
No, I think this is going right before Mother's Day because you know what I was thinking for people who want to do this again, we're going back to this is beautiful. It's affordable. There's always
Yeah, good.
fabulous deals on QVC. If you're looking for like a last minute Mother's Day
I
gift.
love it. And even laurageller.com, we have the
Yeah.
best pack outs at the best prices.
Yeah.
So go there.
Yeah, and make sure to check out your social. Where can we see you on social media? Because you
Yeah.
were
So
clearly killing it there.
Laura Geller Beauty is the fan page, for the whole company, and then my own personal page, which I got to get better at that social media. That is generational, let me tell you, is
I hate
Laura
it.
J. Geller.
Laura J. Geller. And of course, Facebook, right? Facebook is so big. My mom uses Facebook. I know she loves it.
Me too.
So you're on there. Yep. Facebook. Go there. There's great videos. You
Laura
can
Geller
see the
Beauty on
makeup.
Facebook and Instagram. Yes.
Laura, it has been
Thank you for
such a
having
pleasure.
me. What a
Thank you
great
so much for being
interviewer
on.
you are. My
Oh,
goodness.
oh, thank you. Well, you know what it
Really?
is? I just love this. I love beauty. I could talk about beauty all day, and I really love your products, and I think people could see why. And I, hope you guys can all see. Look, the older we get to, I think I love now that we're being more open. Hey, let's go bareface. Let's do this. Like, beautiful.
Whatever
It
makes
comes
you
in
feel good.
everything, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. And whatever makes you feel good, you don't have to follow the industry standards, just, I have to say, I'm not a skinny mini, and sometimes putting on my makeup, Amber, makes me feel better. And,
Yeah.
I know people say if you feel good on the inside, you feel good on the outside. For me, it's the opposite. Like taking that shower and putting on the makeup, I'm like raring to go. It makes a difference for me in that way, for me.
I could not agree more. And I think that is another wonderful little bit of advice. And like I said, intuitive, smart makeup, you don't need to be a professional. You can do this yourself. You can do it at home. It's super smart. And I couldn't thank you more.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
You have a wonderful day. And if you have questions you want me to pass on to Laura or her team, I'm always happy to do so. You can email me at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and right here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday, hopefully looking a little more brighter, balanced with our baked stuff. Okay. I was going to say I'm baked, but that could take another thing. We'll just cut it there. Bye.